When Mona Lisa vanished into the wilderness, she wandered aimlessly, broken and alone. Her once fair and radiant complexion vanished. But that did not bother her. What bothered her most was her mother, her voice, and her humanity. Days turned into nights, and nights into more lonely days. She no longer had a home, a voice to sing with, or a face anyone could look at without turning to stone. She would sit under trees, staring into the emptiness of the forest. Her thoughts always returned to her mother. Tears would stream down her cheeks as she whispered to herself, "Oh, my mother, only God knows how you must be fearing now. I am sorry, mother, for putting tears in your eyes. My foolish quest for beauty brought this curse upon me." Every word was soaked in regret. Wherever night met her, that was where she slept, beneath trees, beside cold rocks, on wet soil. The forest became her prison and her grave. Tears became her food, day and night. When hunger clawed at her stomach, she learned to survive like a wild thing. She would catch squirrels and eat them raw. When no squirrel could be found, she chewed on wild grass, anything to stop the emptiness in her belly. Her once soft hands became rough, her feet bare and torn. But worst of all was not the hunger, nor the snakes on her head, nor even the cold. It was loneliness, no voice, no love, no home, only regret and the haunting truth that her own mother might never know what truly happened to her. And so Mona Lisa continued to wander in the darkness, cursed to live and cursed to never be seen. One cold, lonely evening, Mona Lisa sat beneath a tree, her heart heavy with sorrow. Her snake hair hissed softly in the wind as she stared at the ground, thinking of her mother, her village, and the life she had lost. Suddenly she heard a voice, soft yet clear. "Mona Lisa." She froze, her eyes widened in fear and disbelief. Someone had entered the wilderness and called her name. Who could it be, she wondered. No one dared to enter the deep forest. No one should even know she was alive. She quickly closed her eyes and cried out, "Please, whoever you are, stay away from me. Don't come close. Don't look into my eyes, because if you do, you will turn to stone. I am not evil, but this curse, it punishes anyone who sees me." The voice came closer, calm and gentle. "Open your eyes, Mona Lisa. I will not turn to stone. Only humans are cursed to freeze when they look into your eyes. But I am not human." Mona Lisa hesitated, her heart pounding. Slowly she opened her eyes. Standing before her was an old woman, glowing softly with an otherworldly light. Her face was wrinkled but kind, her eyes filled with warmth and wisdom. "Old woman? What are you doing here?" Mona Lisa asked, alarmed. "This place is not safe for you. Please leave." But the old woman did not move. She simply smiled and stepped closer. "Mona Lisa, my child," she said gently, "I am your great-grandmother. I died many years ago, before you were born. I heard your cry in the land of the dead, and I have come to help you." Mona Lisa's jaw dropped in disbelief. "My great-grandmother. I have heard stories about you, but look at me, look at what I have become. A monster. My quest for beauty brought me this irreversible and unbearable curse." Her voice cracked as she spoke, her eyes heavy with tears. The old woman stepped even closer, looking at her with deep pity and love. Her voice was calm, yet strong. "My poor child, beauty that is not born from the soul will always bring sorrow. But there may yet be a path for you if your heart is willing to listen." Mona Lisa looked into the spirit's eyes, filled with a flicker of hope. A path? Even now? And the wind grew still, waiting to hear what the spirit would say next. The old woman's voice was firm, yet filled with compassion as she spoke. "There is only one way to break the curse, but the burden lies on your shoulders, Mona Lisa. You alone have the power to undo what has been done." Mona Lisa's eyes widened. "I have the power, But how? Tell me, great-grandmother. I will do anything. The old woman nodded slowly. The curse can only be broken under one sacred condition. Monalisa leaned forward, desperate, her voice trembling. Whatever the condition is, I will do it. The old woman continued. You must come with me to the land of the dead and live there for 4 good years. During this time you will learn, reflect, and prepare your soul. After those 4 years, the gods of your father's land will come to you and ask you one question. Your answer will determine your fate. Monalisa was quiet for a moment, stunned by the gravity of the task. Just one question? And if I answer it wrong? If your answer satisfies the gods, the old woman said solemnly, the curse will be broken and your life will be restored. But if you fail, if your answer is not worthy, then the curse will remain forever. It will never be broken, not even in death. Monalisa felt a chill run through her, but she did not hesitate. Her voice was steady, her eyes filled with courage. I accept. I will live in the land of the dead. Take me with you, great-grandmother. I am ready. The old woman smiled, proud of her descendants' strength. She gently reached out, placing a hand on Monalisa's shoulder. In an instant, with a sudden whoosh of energy, they disappeared into the realm, between the living and the dead, a place where time moved differently, where the soul was weighed, and where destiny waited in silence. When they arrived, Monalisa found herself standing in front of a small, quiet hut, surrounded by mist and strange trees with silver leaves. The air was still and cold. Her great-grandmother turned to her and said, My child, welcome to the land of the dead. This hut will be your home for the next 4 years. When the time is complete, the gods of your father's land will come to you. What you say to them will decide if the curse is broken or not. Monalisa looked around in awe. The land was silent yet peaceful. The sky was gray, and time seemed to flow like slow-moving water. The old woman led her behind the hut, 2 round stones neatly placed side by side. These stones are sacred, the old woman said, her voice serious. No matter what happens, do not sit on them, do not lie on them, do not use them for anything. But every morning you must wake up before the sun touches the sky and pour water on them. Never miss a day, no matter how tired or sad you feel. Monalisa nodded solemnly. I understand, great-grandmother. I will do as you say. I will not sit on the stones, and I will pour water on them every morning. The old woman smiled faintly, a look of pride and sadness in her eyes. Good, my child. This journey will not be easy, but it will shape the soul that must face the gods. And with that, Monalisa began her strange, quiet life in the land of the dead, where time had no clock, and every choice whispered into the future. Monalisa sat quietly on the cold floor, her heart full of uncertainty. The silence in the land of the dead was deep, almost heavy, and the sky, eternally gray, refused to change. Hours passed, and yet the day remained the same. It felt as though time had frozen. After what she guessed to be over 50 hours, she rose to her feet and approached the old woman. Great-grandmother, she asked, her voice filled with curiosity. Since I arrived here, night hasn't come. The sky hasn't changed. Is there no night in this place? The old woman looked at her with calm, knowing eyes and said, Night will come, my child, when the time is right. Monalisa returned to her place and waited, but the hours dragged endlessly. Her stomach rumbled. She felt weak. She returned again to the old woman and pleaded, Great-grandmother, I am hungry. The old woman's voice was firm now. Monalisa, there will be no food for you in this realm. If you truly wish for the curse to be broken, you must feed only on water, nothing more. Monalisa's eyes widened in disbelief. Water? You mean for the next 4 years I will not eat, only drink water? The old woman nodded silently. A lump formed in Monalisa's throat. But she was determined. She whispered, Then I will drink water. I will endure. She drank from a clay cup by the side of the hut, the cool water easing her hunger only slightly. After what felt like over 400 hours, the sky finally dimmed, and night came, a deep, quiet night like a soft shadow. Mona Lisa sighed in relief, thinking perhaps now she might eat. But she watched in silence as the old woman prepared a bowl of food for herself. The aroma filled the hut. Mona Lisa's mouth watered, but no food was offered to her. The old woman ate alone, quietly, without a word. Mona Lisa turned away, her stomach aching, and drank another sip of water. She lay down and closed her eyes, whispering to herself, 4 years. I must endure, for my voice, for my mother, for myself. The next morning, Mona Lisa rose before the sky brightened, still gray and cold as ever. She took the old calabash by the hut's side, walked to the backyard, and poured water carefully over the 2 sacred stones, just as the old woman had instructed. She knelt before the stones, closed her eyes, and whispered a prayer. May this water carry hope to my mother, wherever she is. Then she returned to the hut, where the old woman was seated quietly. Great-grandmother, Mona Lisa said softly, please, can I make a request? The old woman turned to her with gentle eyes. Yes, my child, speak your heart. Mona Lisa swallowed hard and said, please, I want you to go and see my mother. Tell her that I am fine. Let her know I am alive, even if she cannot see me. The old woman's expression shifted. There was sorrow in her gaze. Mona Lisa, your mother is very sick. She is dying slowly. The loss of her only child pierced her heart deeper than any wound. As I speak to you now, she is half dead. Her body is failing. She suffers from a broken heart and an illness of the soul, what your people call a heart attack. My child, she will not survive it. Mona Lisa's knees hit the ground. Tears streamed down her face. Please, great-grandmother, she cried, don't let her die. I beg you, please, go to her, revive her, heal her. I will give anything. Just don't let her die thinking I abandoned her. The old woman looked at Mona Lisa with great compassion. She stepped forward. I have heard your cry, my child, for your happiness is my greatest desire, and your wishes are my command. I shall go in peace, and I will return. With that, she vanished into the shadows. Mona Lisa was left alone, still kneeling, whispering, please, save her. When Mona Lisa stood up after the old woman vanished into the shadows, her mind raced with thoughts. My great-grandmother just spoke in parables, she muttered. She said my happiness is her greatest desire, and my wish is her command. What does she really mean? Confused, but hopeful, Mona Lisa sat quietly, her heart heavy with concern for her mother. Back in the village, the old woman, now in spirit form, appeared quietly in Mona Lisa's compound. Mona Lisa's mother was lying helplessly on a worn mat just outside their small hut, barely breathing, her body cold and weak. The old woman stretched forth her hands and whispered an ancient chant. A warm, glowing light emerged from her palms, surrounding Mona Lisa's mother. In an instant, Mona Lisa's mother sneezed, sat up with a gasp, and stood to her feet, feeling strong, fresh, and renewed. What? What just happened to me? She whispered in shock, looking around. Just then, the figure of the old woman transformed, becoming a young girl, vibrant and full of life. She smiled at the woman before her. Welcome back, beautiful Felicia, the girl said kindly. Mona Lisa's mother blinked and confused. Who are you? How did you know my name? And why am I feeling so strong and healthy all of a sudden? The girl responded with a calm voice. I am Kelly, and I was sent by your daughter, Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa, you have seen my daughter, she exclaimed with trembling joy. Kelly nodded. Yes, I saw her. She and I were kidnapped by a gang. They demanded huge amount of money. My father paid for me, so they released me. Mona Lisa told me to come and tell you that she is alive, that she is safe, and that you should not worry. My father is preparing to pay her ransom. Very soon, she will be released, and she will return to you." Monalisa's mother broke into tears, overwhelmed by relief. "Oh, Kelly, may God bless you and your father. I can't wait to see my child again." Kelly smiled. "I must take my leave now. Stay strong, Mama." As Kelly walked away, Mona Lisa's mother looked up at the sky with gratitude, her heart no longer aching in despair. "Oh, Mona Lisa, I can't wait to hold you again." Unaware that the healing and the message were both part of her daughter's deep sacrifice and love. When the old woman returned, Mona Lisa ran to her, with eagerness in her eyes. "Did you see my mother? How is she?" Mona Lisa asked breathlessly. The old woman smiled. "She is fine now. I have healed her." Mona Lisa dropped to her knees. "Thank you, great-grandmother. You have given me joy again." Then she paused, remembering something. "Before you left, you said something that has been on my mind. You said that my happiness is your greatest desire, and that my wishes are your command. Please, what do you mean?" The old woman's eyes twinkled. "I will tell you what I mean when the time is right." From that day on, Mona Lisa continued to live in peace in the land of the dead. She never forgot to pour water on the two sacred stones every morning, just as the old woman had instructed. Knowing that her mother was alive and healthy brought her great comfort. One day, as Mona Lisa sat on the floor reflecting on her life, an old man walked quietly into the compound. "Mona Lisa, my child, how are you doing today?" the old man asked gently. "I am fine, thank you," Mona Lisa replied, a bit startled. "But who are you?" she asked. "I am one of the people who live here," he said with a warm smile. "Oh, okay," she responded. The old man sat beside her. "I have heard your story, how your search for beauty brought you to this point, how your friends mocked you, and how they turned to stones just by looking into your cursed eyes." Mona Lisa looked down, her voice soft. "Yes, sir. Lucy and Linda, they mocked me every day. They made me feel worthless, reminded me that I was ugly. But I don't blame them anymore. I blame myself for letting their words push me into making the worst mistake of my life." The old man looked at her deeply. "If you were told that forgiving your friends would bring them back to life, would you forgive them, even after all they did to you, and what they made you go through?" Mona Lisa looked up, eyes already moist. "Yes, I would forgive them. In fact, I have already forgiven them. It was never my intention to harm them. It was the curse." The old man leaned forward. "But do you still love them after everything?" Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Yes, I still love them. They were my childhood friends, my best friends. I miss them so much. I wish I could see them again, to tell them I am sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen." As Mona Lisa wept, the old man smiled faintly, and without a word he vanished into thin air. Mona Lisa gasped and stood up. "Old man? Where are you? You came to remind me of my friends. I still love them. I miss them." Suddenly she felt a strange tingling sensation on her head. She reached up in fear and, to her shock, the snakes were gone. Her normal self had returned, smooth, soft, and free. "Oh my God, the snakes, they are gone!" she shouted in disbelief. Overwhelmed with joy, she called out, running across the yard. "Great-grandmother, great-grandmother, come quickly!" Her heart pounded with hope, for maybe, just maybe, the curse was beginning to break. As Mona Lisa ran through the compound, searching for the old woman to share the joyful news, she saw the old woman standing at a distance, clapping her hands slowly and smiling. "Clap for yourself, my child," the old woman said warmly. "You have made it. The old man who just disappeared was one of the gods of your father's land. He came to ask you the question, and your answer satisfied him, and the curse is broken." Mona Lisa was stunned. "Wait, great-grandmother, you said I would stay here for 4 years, but I have only spent 4 days." The old woman laughed softly. My child, 1 day in this land is equivalent to 1 year in the human world. So yes, you have spent 4 years already. Mona Lisa's eyes widened in amazement, her confusion mixing with awe. And the 2 stones, I told you to pour water on each morning. The old woman continued. They are your friends, Lucy and Linda. When they turned to stone after looking into your eyes, I picked them and brought them here. I waited for this very moment, the day their curse could be broken. Mona Lisa trembling slightly. They were my friends all along. Yes, my child, go and bring water. As you pour it on the stones, call their names. They will return to life, for the curse is no more. Without hesitation, Mona Lisa fetched water. As she poured it gently over the stones, she softly called, Lucy, Linda. Suddenly, as though touched by a miracle, the stones shimmered and transformed, and there before her stood Lucy and Linda, fully human, confused and overwhelmed. Where are we? They asked in unison, looking around in awe. Mona Lisa, with tears of joy, replied, Relax, my dear friends, it's a long story. The old woman gestured for them to sit down. Now, Mona Lisa, I will finally explain what I meant when I said your happiness is my greatest desire, and your wishes are my command. She turned to the 3 girls and began her story. When I was alive in the human world, I was very beautiful, but also very wicked. No one dared cross my path, because I would kill anyone who did. People hated me. My beauty brought me no love, only feared by people. I never looked for their trouble. They were the ones looking for my trouble. But before I died, I made a wish to return to the world, not as a beautiful woman, but as someone ugly, but will come with a special gift, the one that will make people to love me. I also wished to be rich, but this time, to use my riches to help others. I wish to save and never to destroy again. She looked at Mona Lisa with a soft smile. Mona Lisa, my child, you are my reincarnation. When your mother got married, your father was not very handsome, so I chose to come through him even more ugly than he was. That is why you were born the way you are. It was not a mistake. It was your destiny. Mona Lisa gasped in shock, her hands covering her mouth. Then, the old woman turned to Lucy and Linda. My children, never mock another's bad situation. It is a sin before God. Mona Lisa's looks is her destiny, not a flaw. She carried my soul and my choice. Your harsh words pushed her into making a terrible mistake, and that mistake cost your lives. But your lives were preserved by me, her guiding spirit. Both of you owe her your loyalty. Lucy and Linda fell to their knees, tears in their eyes. Mona Lisa, please forgive us. We were blind. We let our pride and cruelty destroy our friendship. We are so sorry. Mona Lisa spoke with a calm tone. I forgave you a long time ago. That's why the curse was broken. Stand up, my friends. I love you both. The old woman smiled with pride. It is time for you all to return to the human world. But before you go, I have a gift for you, Mona Lisa. She stretched out her hand, revealing a luminous, glowing stone resting on her palm. Take it, my child. Your sweet voice is a gift. Use it to sing, to bring happiness to others. As long as you keep singing and making people smile, this stone will bring you riches beyond your dreams. When you become rich, use your wealth to help the needy. But remember, the day you will stop being kind to others, the stone will lose its power. Help others. Make them happy. This is your destiny. Take it and go. Mona Lisa took the glowing stone with trembling hands, tears flowing freely, grateful, redeemed, and ready for a new life. Thank you so much, great-grandmother, Mona Lisa said with heartfelt gratitude. I will forever be grateful for this gift. But how do we find our way back to the village? The old woman smiled gently. Close your eyes and count from 1 to 4. When you open them, you will be home. The girls obeyed. They closed their eyes and counted 1, 2, 3, 4. And in an instant, when they opened their eyes, they found themselves standing right in the middle of their village square. Surprised and overwhelmed with joy, they each ran toward their homes. Mona Lisa ran as fast as her legs could carry her. As she approached her compound, her mother was sitting outside, lost in thoughts and worry. The moment she looked up and saw Mona Lisa, she leapt to her feet, shouting joyfully, "Oh, my Mona Lisa! The kidnappers finally released you. Thank God for Kelly and her father." Mona Lisa paused in confusion. Kelly and her father? Who is Kelly? Her mother smiled. The girl who came here and healed me. She told me you had been kidnapped and that her father was arranging for your release. She gave me hope, Mona Lisa. She said you were alive and fine. Suddenly, realization struck Mona Lisa. Oh, that was my great-grandmother. She disguised herself to heal you and give you comfort. Her mother stared at her in disbelief. You mean my own grandmother? That young girl was her? Mona Lisa nodded. Yes, mother. Sit down. Let me tell you everything. She told her mother the whole story, how she had gone to a goddess in her desperation for beauty, how the curse transformed her, and how her own mother could not recognize her. She explained the journey to the land of the dead, the sacrifice she made, and how the curse was finally broken. Her mother hugged her tightly again, tears rolling down her face. My child, I am so sorry. I didn't know. You mean that beautiful girl who came here? Was you? That was you. Mona Lisa nodded again, smiling. Yes, mother, but the past is gone. No more sorrow. Let's rejoice, we have a second chance. The next day, Mona Lisa returned to her usual spot, under the big mango tree, the same tree where she used to sit and sing for the villagers. As soon as she began to sing, her voice, sweet and angelic, floated through the village. One by one, villagers came out, gathering to listen. They rejoiced, clapped, and celebrated her return. Her song brought happiness, and her presence lit up the faces of everyone who heard her. When Mona Lisa returned home that evening, she found something extraordinary. The luminous stone her great-grandmother had given her was now surrounded by piles of money. She gasped in amazement, overwhelmed by gratitude. Mother, look, the stone, it worked. Her mother joined her in a joyful dance, praising God and thanking the spirit of the old woman. From that day forward, each time Mona Lisa sang to bring happiness to others, the stone produced more money. But Mona Lisa never kept it to herself. She used her riches to help the poor, care for the sick, and support widows and orphans. She never stopped singing, and she never stopped giving. Lucy and Linda, now fully reconciled with her, became her closest friends once again. They never mocked her again, but instead they stood by her side with love and loyalty. And so Mona Lisa lived a full and joyful life. Ugliness had once brought her pain, but love, forgiveness, and kindness made her truly beautiful. Her story became a legend in the village, the girl who once sought beauty in desperation, but found a greater gift, the power to love, heal, and bring happiness to others.